All right. Hello, my name is Kristie Porter from Baltimore County Public Schools, and today I'm talking about how to use the Teams feature in Wixie. If you haven't used it before, it is up here on this top bar, and I'm just going to show you some of the things that I have done with it and kind of how that started for me. Oh, well, I guess I do love a meme, so I'm sorry. And I love The Office, so I had to throw in Michael Scott. Okay, but I was thinking, that if we can, get back to some of the things that we love about teaching, like connecting with students, then this would really be our meme. This is one of the I don't know, this one really, I just love this one. It kind of gives you hope and positivity that you can um, connect and really keep teaching the kids even when we're remote. So I don't know everyone who's watching if you're all remote right now or hybrid or in person, but we are all remote and we've been all remote since March. So we haven't been back at all. Um, and this is not my actual classroom. I actually got this image off of Wixie, but um, what are we missing? I mean, and not just like, the hugs and the like seeing their faces, but as far as instruction, what are we missing? I feel like that part when you're teaching virtually that I'm really missing is being able to support, offer that support when you're just walking around the classroom and you stop by and you look at their paper and you kind of direct them, like, oh, did you see this or you missed this problem? Just the connection between the students, building that community of learners, their interactions between, the students and like working together and problem solving, everything that I feel like in the last, I don't even know, 10, 15 years, there's been such a focus on, collaboration and problem solving and working together. And now I feel like we've taken this giant step back because we can't we can't do so much of that because it feels, remote is a really good word for it. I feel so remote from these kids sometimes, even though, we are making connections for sure. There's just some things that we just still can't do, I feel like. Um, so when I first thought about using the team feature, I was thinking about one-on-one support in an assessment. It was like September, early September, and we had to give a benchmark to these first graders, who hadn't even gone to kindergarten for the last third quarter of the year. And we were like, how are we going to do this? Like, we do need to know where they are and we need to get the most valid and reliable data that we can. But how are we really, we were like, should we have them hold up, their whiteboard or their paper and then kind of try to scan everyone? Um, so I started thinking about the team feature and how, because I know that if you don't use the team feature, you can go in and see what's happening. It updates, I don't know, every 10 seconds, something like that. But I thought if I made myself a team on each student, so it's just me and the student on this one for the one-on-one. And if I made myself part of that team with them, oh, see, it's like circling. Okay, I think we're good. That I could go in and, this is a lot for a first grader in the beginning of September I don't know what they remember about Wixie. Um, I don't know how they're doing with technology and the camera and how much support they have. And what I really want to assess is this math. I don't need to know how good are they at technology and following directions, because were they really listening when I carefully try to explain it over and over? Um, and looking back on this, I would have added audio here. There are directions over here on the right that when they open it, that will play for them. But, now that I've made some more, I like putting the audio like where it's a little more like they see, oh, there's the speaker. I'm going to click on it and hear the directions. So as the student was going through, like the first one wasn't too bad. This one, as you can imagine, if I was just sitting here saying, okay, go to your Wixie and in the top row in each box, because they get confused. Am I circling, am I circling a whole box out of this row? They don't realize I'm circling one number in each of these boxes. So what I can do is I can, since I'm a team member, I can literally like take the paintbrush and say, okay, it's going to be this number or this number. Like I can really, almost as if I'm standing next to their desk, pointing to that paper. Because I know in the classroom, when we give an assessment like this in September in first grade, we are, I'm posting it. I've read the problem 5 times. I'm walking around, making sure they're actually doing it. And you can also then, really see, are they skipping something? This one, so when we actually did this, he was pretty good. He didn't need too much help. But there were some students where in the team feature, I went and I got the thing and I said, okay, look at the star, look at that problem, and I read the directions again. And I said, so if I just click this dot 2 times, so I really was able to walk them through that practice problem by um, being able to draw on their screen while they were on their screen. Um, So, for instance, I left this, oh, sorry, let me go back to the pointer. I left this 5 down here, just as an example of, I could say, oh, hey, I don't see something in this box, you're 5. And sorry, normally I have my mouse colored, but so that they could, move that. Okay, so that was that one. So, not all my students need that support right now because, now it's December. But there are still some students, or if it's a challenging concept, or if it's, these math problems get harder and harder, I can, if I have some students that I know need more support, I can just set them up in the team feature. And if I don't need it, I don't need it. But if I do, it's there. Okay. So then I thought, oh, well, I could do that with classwork too. So this is an example of a new student. Um, she had gone to our school and then they ended up homeschooling and then she just came back. So now where almost everyone else, knows how to click the plus, open a new tab, go to Wixie, here's all the tools. Like they know most of the stuff and she's kind of like, what? I don't know what is going on. So I put myself as a team on hers. So I gave this example, like I went in and, she had written her 3 like this. So in real time, I could draw the 3, and then I could even, erase hers for her. I can, she was still on the meet with me. I was talking to her, but there's a difference between talking to them and being able to manipulate stuff and draw stuff on the screen and just talking to them and really hoping that they're kind of looking at what you're talking about. So just, and you see, this was just a very boring math activity that I stuck some monsters on to make it a little more appealing. Um, this was the last one. Sorry. So on this one, I also thought, well, since she's pretty new to this was a good opportunity to talk her through, like I modeled. Well, if you didn't want to write with the pen or the paintbrush, you could also type in a number. So I showed her, I talked to her about the text box and typing in a number. Okay. So, all right. Then really fun stuff that this is what's really been exciting me. Not that assessments, and data don't excite me, but this part has been much more fun. So partner and team games. This first one, I modified. So we're using a new math curriculum this year, and they've done a really good job of trying to make a lot of things online and give us these resources. But unfortunately, they have a really nice version of this game that they made online, but the kids can't play it together. They have to play it against someone in their house. Or, we say, oh, well, if everyone's working, play with a stuffed animal. Like it's, and I felt like that was a huge part of the math curriculum, especially in first grade, is playing partner games. And I thought, when it dawned on me that I could try to make some partner games on Wixie. Of course, you have to really talk through the steps at first, and build up that level of independence. There was actually a video on here, and I took the video out for privacy, but I had told them, if you disagree with your partner or you're not sure what they're doing, um, then do a video and ask them, like, oh, like I disagree. Like if they had put 6 is greater than 6, oh, I disagree, just do it nicely. So what I had done is I, put a bunch of the domino cards, and this is just, you pull a card out, whoever has the bigger one wins. So what they left off with is not a great example because it's equal. And so I guess we would have done kind of a war. So then they would each pick another card, and I hid them behind this, and I locked that there. Um, so it was just a way for them to play the game instead of yet another game, me saying, okay, like, see if anybody's not busy or your stuffed animals. So that was a simple one that I made just based on our math curriculum. This one, and I forgot, I need to credit Teachers Pay Teachers because I spend way too much money on Teachers Pay Teachers because I like when the stuff looks pretty. Um, so I just uploaded the PDF to make the background here to make it look pretty. And also to save time. A lot of it's to save time. So I didn't have to make it look pretty. They did it for me. I did, I built the deck and the discard and cloned these. So this is just a bump game where, a partner's gonna pull it out and cover up. They would put that in the discard pile and cover their number so they could play back and forth. Um, so, when we began these games, I'm doing it in small groups. So we're kind of still on the meat, but I'm asking them, okay, mute yourself and go, you're going to play this, but I'm kind of here. Come back to the Google Meet if you have a question. So in the beginning, a lot of them were still turning off their mic and saying, it's your turn. So then I learned you'll see in one of my other games that I learned how to just put this little mitten on the hat and mitten game so they could move it back and forth. So that way I said, okay, when you're done your turn, move it over to player 2, and then they know. This one I made a team game. This was their first time doing one of these 100 charts, and I thought, and they could absolutely do this independently, but I thought the first time, they have to fill in most of these squares by clicking and dragging these, based on the code over here. And I thought, well, this will kind of make it a little less daunting and just give them that opportunity to practice working together, to practice, making sure that you're not messing up what someone else has done. Just like in the classroom where you would have to make sure you're not, messing their stuff up, that you're taking turns and being respectful and, doing your part of the project. So I wanted you to see what it looked like before they did it. And then when they did it together, it looked like this. So this was kind of the first step. And then the next ones will be more where they're solving problems. So I think we'll continue doing these as a team for a while because 100 problems would be a lot for one first grader. And then so I realized, well, I really am doing a lot of math here. What can I do in language arts with this? And this is what the game looked like beforehand and after they played it, so this was like a memory game. And I was thinking, so as far as I know, you can't flip the cards over in Wixie, not yet. So I thought, well, how can we play a memory game like where you normally flip over 2 cards and see if you got a match? So that's why I, covered them with the hats. And I told them, okay, move it to the top. And I did have to tell them, count to 5, both hats to the top and count to 5, because their tendency is to just kind of do it real quick, and then the partner can't see it if they go that fast. Like the um, whatever it's called, updating doesn't happen enough for the other partner to see that they actually moved it. Um, and then they would move it over to player 2. Now, the next one that I make, so I made this background. Well, the snow is from Wixie. The um, the grid, I actually made it in PowerPoint and pasted it, but I'm not going to do that next time, because what I realized, if I had taken a little extra time and done it here in Wixie and typed in the words, then it would have read the words to them. So that's the little things that, okay, you do one and you realize, oh, because, they're first graders and they're trying to learn these sight words. And if I had typed it in Wixie, and they clicked on that little yellow megaphone thing, it would have said little. So next time I'll do it that way. All right. And this is, in case you're an intermediate teacher, Jenna Loomis has shared some of her 5th grade work. So this is not for my first graders, this is for 5th graders. And she gave me a very detailed explanation of this, and I did read it, but I'm not sure that I remember it all, Jenna. Um, so they were doing PQPs, which is praise, question, polish. So I love that she used this, because what are you missing in 5th grade? The partner work is a lot of peer editing. They do so much writing, and one of the perks for them is to finally get to finish writing and meet with a partner, and at least get to talk about what they wrote and have someone read it and then give a praise, like a compliment, something you are questioning, and then advice for what they could do to fix it. um, so this was in her directions for her students, like really letting them know what she meant, giving them clear directions for the PQP. And I believe this is her student example of writing, and he was supposed to highlight his transitions. Okay, so that was, make sure I'm not missing anything. That was the one example. This was another student who clearly figured out the spray spray can. Sorry, Jen, is this the whole story right here? If I click this button? Just thumbs up, Jenna. I see.
Yes, so this is one where he put information about his characters, but then he decided to narrate his story with the record tool.
Okay, thank you. So I won't play that just because it's a little longer, but this blank page actually is some feedback from a classmate. So hopefully you hear this.
Your writing helped me feel good inside and really made me think how much I actually like nature. My second one is I like how descriptive you were with your events. My only question is you could tell me a little more about the characters that you used and how and like what their characteristics are. I also have 2 polishes for you. Have you thought about adding more sequence ones to make the story flow a little bit more? And maybe you can add more action during the part when Mr. Beaver fixes the river. But overall, you did a very good job. I really liked your story.
So you could see that, right? I mean, you could hear that. Sorry, you could hear that, right? I love that feedback. I mean, you've taught him really well, Jenna, to give really nice and efficient feedback, like really helpful feedback. This is the one where I was thinking, wow, I'm glad that Wixie has that feature, because that would be really hard for my for my eyes to read. So yeah, you could click that button and have that narrated to you. I'm not going to read that one right now, but that was just another example. And then it's funny, we were talking about, so she was supposed to record her feedback like the first student did, but she said she couldn't, she didn't have permission. but we were saying, well, that's real life, because a lot of times we think it's all set up for them, and then something on their home computer, they don't know how to allow the camera, or suddenly, maybe it was allowed and now they restarted and now it's blocking the microphone again. So, but she made it work by typing her feedback. All right, and then this is a math example from 4th grade from Kelly Murphy. So this is now, the nice thing about the intermediate students is like this dice, she has connected to a link that goes to, a page that just would roll the dice. So you can do that. The game, says, should have clicked the scale thing. You roll the dice and you move your paper clips and you do the multiplication and you play this 4-way tic-tac-toe. It all looks very confusing to me, but I think she understands it. So, it's just one more way. And because they're a little older, they can click a link, and they're a little more agile at going back and forth between the tabs and not having to have everything built in. I would not have my 1st graders click a link and go somewhere else.
Kristie, can I jump in? Because there's a great question on the chat.
Sure.
Do you assign separate duplicated projects to the partners when you're playing these games together? Like, do you take the project duplicated and make all individual teams?
Yes. So
okay.
The first time, so for the assessment, I made a copy for each student, and it was time consuming, but it was worth it to me. I mean, and when I say time consuming, it took like 3 minutes, honestly, to copy, and just write their name on it. The first time I did a team project that was like a partner kind of game thing, I had it all set up ahead of time. And then not everyone showed up to the class, which I don't know about you, but sometimes not everyone shows up to the class. And then it kind of messed up my whole thing. And I realized, okay, so then I just made copies that just said like team 1, team 2, team 3, team 4, and I had a little notepad. So then when they were in the meeting, I would know, okay, here's who's here. Okay, so-and-so, you guys are team 1. And it was really easy to just, before you guys came on, I said, I'm not going to click this because it'll show all my students' first and last names. But you just click it and it's on no, and you just say yes and yes, and it automatically adds you, the teacher, as a team member. And what I like is so if this were a team project right now, it would have a 1 on it because I am a team member and I'm on it. If there were 3 students working on it, there would be 3. Even if I had 15 assigned on that team, like it was a whole class, I have a couple whole class projects to show you. But when you click on team, it'll have a green dot next to whoever is working on it right then as it open. And that was really nice. Like today, I had a student who was like, okay, bye. And I was like, wait, like I meant for them to stay in the meeting and do it, but they left. But I could actually see because their green dot was there. And then I looked at it and they were doing stuff. So I was like, okay, they're doing it. So that's good. Does that answer the question? Okay, so actually this is supposed to say whole group, whole class. These are whole class projects. So after we were off for a week, after our school system was attacked by ransomware and we had to be out of school for another week, not even virtual school. When you come back, you think, okay, it's a good time to review the rules and things like that. So, this is just the trendy Bitmoji. But this I made, and I made a copy because I knew I wasn't going to have you go through every one, and I wanted to take out ones that didn't have, or ones that might have a video or something in them. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. It'll come back to me. I'll just start showing you, and it'll come back to me. Okay. So So I made the whole class a team on this, and we had to talk about, just like in the partner games, how you don't do anything. Just like at school, you wouldn't go scribble on someone's paper, and you wouldn't take their paper and rip it up and throw it in the trash. You do not do anything to anyone's paper. And I haven't taught them this yet. I don't know if I want to teach them this, but just for you guys, if you have like a whole team, like you have 20, 25 kids, and you don't want to flip through 25 pages to find a student, I don't know if you know, if you click story, it kind of lays it out for you, and you can, go right. If you click edit, you'll go right back to the page you selected. So this was one of the, so to me, this was kind of that connection, doing the whole class. Yes, we were reminding ourselves of our expectations, but I also took the opportunity to show them some more things in Wixie, because you can't throw it. There's actually a lot of functionality in Wixie that you don't realize, because it looks so easy to use and simple, but there's a lot of things that after they master a few tools, you can give them some more tools. So they were making their home school, like they were supposed to make it look like their school at home. And then they were also supposed to tell, so I'm not sure if I took off her video or she just hasn't finished yet and told me what is the school rule. But I love how, she has her laptop. She put things on this shelf herself. So, the elves are all over the houses now. So she put the elf over there on the shelf. I love, his cat is always walking across the computer. So he said, do not let the cat bug you. I was hoping that this was supposed to be me, this lovely, pretty woman that looks so young and skinny. So she picked this background. She said, wait to be called on, but she added dominoes, because we did those in our math unit, and that sort of looks like her dog, and there's her computer. I just love that they were really getting to show what it looks like for them for school in this project. And everyone in the class can see their page because it's a team project. We can be, I think mom helped type that. He said, be kind. Oh, I think he said something good.
Always be kind.
Okay, be kind and listen when someone is talking. And she filled in lots of details too. Okay. Oh, I'm like running out of time, sorry. Today I decided to make, or not today, we were working on some of it today, but we decided to make, I thought, oh, let's make a team word wall. Like, why not? Because now I'm all into making everything into a team. So I just put a few of them in here. A lot of them aren't done yet. So I gave them a specific letter. This girl also found the spray, but she has the letter G. So she had to put sight words on the board, and she found lots of things that start with G. He was putting things that start with S, creepy things here, sight words. She's got L. Okay, sorry, I just want to make sure you see. Oops, here we go. Oh, my teammate, Katie Ferrano, has done some really cool team Wixies with some show and tell things. So she had them make these leaf animals, and these are just a few. And then she also had a show and tell where they were supposed to build something, and that connected to our what we were reading about in language arts that week. So these are just a few examples. Every student in the class had their, if they chose to do it, they had it up there. And this was just because I told you I couldn't click on the team button because it would show first and last names. I pulled this off of the Tech for Learning YouTube video, which I assume you guys, since you know to come to these webinars, you've probably seen those videos. They're pretty good, I think. So that was it. I did it, 7:30. So sorry for the rush at the end.